Okay, I want to make something a little more clear. First of all, it probably sounds like I'm arguing against people saying live in the now. Like, that's pointless advice, or don't live in the now. No, not really. I'm saying that to me, that's a muddle of ideas. I can't make sense of it. And let's assume, for the sake of this argument and the sense of a thinking process, that I think that's, like I said, well intentioned. So that means that it's a good message, a good idea they're trying to convey. But when it goes through those words, for me, because I'm invoking this idea of moment that has this history of just tremendous error that goes up to and includes the current present day, um, I find those words a mix of ideas. So my version of the good advice that I would mean if I was saying that, or what I think people may mean, that I can draw from people who have tried to tell me good advice in those words, and I'm like, what are you really telling me? And they're listening to what they tell me, and now thinking about that and reiterating those that seem valid to me. I would say that one, living in the now is, master the moment. There's a bullet list of things, and I haven't thought of the bullet list ahead of time. I'm just thinking about it now. But one is master the moment. Understand the little tiny moment and be riding that wave. Okay. Um, but the other thing is to I don't like the words master and control, but for lack of a better word, to control your sense of now, to consciously uh, control your. That's within your. Sometimes situations seem to demand a particular sense of now. Like an emergency situation requires a narrow sense of now. Financial planning for your retirement years requires an expanded sense of now. Okay, those are both things you do in the present moment. And so I would say I would like to separate the concept of moment, which is, let's say, the tiniest interval of time. We don't even have to be specific, about it. Um, but, it's a few seconds or so, let's say, or smaller. But if we're really going to talk about what kinds of thoughts you can have in a particular period of time, then we can talk about the exact time. But that's separate from the sense of now. The present moment is always in your sense of now, but your sense of now can be expanded, as I say, for these different tasks that you will be doing in the present moment, or the thinking that you're doing in the present moment. Okay, so those two things really. And then other than that, it depends on the specific. Sometimes people give you this kind of advice when you are, let's say you're getting over some hard thing. So you're broken up. You're just totally depressed in your relationship. You're broken up and you're totally depressed. And somebody's telling you, just live in the now. Go out to the park. They're telling you to narrow up your interval of now, so it doesn't even include the past, and let a fresh start. And that's a good idea. And then it's like your track of your memory, your sense of your history of yourself is like a big tape that has these things marked out on it or not. And if you have a narrow sense of now, then you will be more influenced by things that are just happening immediately. You can make those things good and give yourself a nice strong period of good, and then when you expand your now later on to go ahead and you're thinking over, with my advice, that relationship, you'll have this big patch of good, so that the flavor won't be as hard to take. So there's tricks you could play on your history, but it's inevitable you're going to expand your sense of now and whatnot. So another thing is more the meditation, your sense of now as infinite. Separate your sense of space. And that's true too, is that the now to me, I think, is a space and time. It's not just the time, it's the space around you. And you can expand that out. You might call that now, you might call that some other kind of spatial awareness or spatial moment. But the sense of these things gets expanded out, and so So in that sense, being the now is to expand it way out. Okay, now can there be, in between ones? Yeah, because depending on what you're going through, some emergencies you need an immediate thing. Then again, emotionally, if you deal with the immediate thing, you need to expand it on to think about how great it'll be when you get back to the camp. And even though you're walking on a broken leg, it'll be so great. And that helps motivate you, and that keeps animals alive, having those kinds of motivation. So, you want to get the right size. In general, the advice would be choose the right now for the moment. How about that's my version for now?